campers? I'm Natalia. I was a night counselor last year, so you might remember me from that or from the video I made last week. This week's theme is pirates. So, when I was thinking of pirates, I was thinking of all the long journeys they took across many oceans carrying their treasure. So, I wanted to see what would sink or float. Because in their boats, if they carried lots of treasure, how did they float? So we're going to take some everyday household objects and see if they will float or sink in our tub of water. The materials you will need to do the sink or float activity at home are items and objects that won't be ruined by water, a Tupperware container or clear bucket. Optionally, you can make a chart with float or sink so you can record what items float or sink. If you want to follow along with what materials I have gathered, I have a key, a button, a lifesaver candy, a thumbtack, 2 shells, a paper clip, a lanyard ring, a quarter, a dime, a nickel, a penny, a pen, a leaf, and a pencil. For our first item, we are going to be using a leaf. So before I put it in the water, guess if it will float and stay at the top or sink and go to the bottom. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna lay it on the water. And it looks like it's staying on top, so it's floating. Even if I try to push it down, it just comes right back to the top. So this is a float item. So I will put it on our float side of our chart. Next, we're gonna do a pencil. So think about it, will this float or sink? I think this might sink. Pencils are kind of heavy. So let's see and test out whether I was correct. Oh, I was wrong. Even if I push it down, it comes right back to the top. And it's a floating object. So we'll put it on next to our leaf. Now we're gonna do a pen. So based off what I know about the pencil floating, I think our pen will float as well. So we're gonna put it in the water. Push it down, see if it'll, nope. That's 3 float objects in a row. That's crazy. No wonder pirates had it so easy with their ships. A lot of things float. Next, let's try our key. So keys are made out of metal, so let's think on whether it will sink down to the bottom or float and stay at the top. Oh, that one was quick. It sunk right down. We'll do that again. Just went straight to the bottom. So we have our first sink object in our key. So we'll put it on the sink side of our chart. Now we're gonna try a button. So I have this little pink button and I wanna think about whether it might float or sink. Wow, I was not expecting that. That one looked kind of cool. It didn't go down as fast as our key. It kind of just floated its way to the bottom, but it still sunk. So we are gonna put our button on the sink side of our chart. Now I have a lifesaver candy. So we're gonna see if it floats or sinks. It went right to the bottom, just like our key. Just went straight. So we are gonna put this lifesaver on the sink side of our chart. Next, I'm gonna try a paper clip. So this is also metal, similar to the key. So I think it might sink, even though it's super light. So let's put it in the water. It did. So we are gonna put this again on the sink side. Now we have a lanyard ring. So this is also metal. So can you take a guess at what this might do? sunk right to the bottom. Just like our key and paper clip that are also made out of metal. Just sunk. So I'll put that in our sink side of our chart. Next, I'm going to do a thumbtack, but I'm going to be careful because it has a pointy end. So it has a little bit of metal and a little bit of plastic, so we'll see whether it sinks or floats. So take time to think, will this sink or float? So it was kind of similar to our button where it took a while for it to sink. So we'll do it again. So we are going to put this next to our lifesaver on the sink side of our column. Now, pirates carried around a lot of treasure. So they had treasure in gold and jewels. So I got some of my treasure. So I have a quarter, a nickel, a penny, and a dime. And I'm going to put them in the water and we're going to see whether they sink or float. So first I have our quarter, our 25 cents. And it looks like that just sunk right away. Next we have our dime, which is our 10 cents. That one sunk too. Our nickel, which is 5 cents, sunk. Now our penny, which is 1 cent, sunk. So if all my treasure sunk, I wonder how pirates were able to carry all their gold treasure without sinking. I'm going to put all of our coins on the sink side of our chart. Now, I'm going to try our shells. So one of them is a flat shell, and the other one is kind of circular. It has a curve in it. So we'll see whether these shells will sink or float. Can you take your guess? Or do you think one might float and one might sink, or vice versa? We'll see. So first we're going to put our flat shell in. And I'll put it face down. And it floats. I wonder if I put it face up, if it will sink. I think we might have solved the answer. Let's see if we put this one where the hole with the air is on top, if it will float. Oh, that one sunk. We'll do it the other way. So what it looks like is pirate ships had air in the boat, and that was able to keep it afloat even when they had treasure in it. So let's add one of our treasures. So the air in a boat helps keep, well, it's sunk now, but a boat's much bigger and has more water. So the air in a boat helps make things float. So we're going to put our shells in the sink side because they eventually both sunk. So let's review. We have in our float section our leaf, our pen, and our pencil, and those all float in. They're pretty light objects. In our sink section, we have our button, lifesaver, thumbtack, which I was surprised by all three because they're kind of lighter. Our key, our paper clip, our lanyard chain, all of our coins. Those are all made out of metal, which is a heavier material, so I'm not surprised that they sunk. And our 2 shells. In the comments of the video, put if you tried a different household object and whether it sunk or float. Thank you for joining me in our sink and float activity this week, and I will see you next week.